Hello everyone, my name is Vikas. This is another session from Tutorials Diary. So we have received many inquiries from many of you to get to know about the Parity client. So before we move to Parity, let's try to understand about the Ethereum client. So Ethereum clients help us to connect with the blockchain. So if you are confused between the client and the node term, so for now, assume that both are same only. So in general, both terms are same basically. Whether you refer as a client or a node, both are the same. So Ethereum client, as I just mentioned, that helps us to connect with the blockchain. So in the Ethereum, we have many different clients which you can use. Some are in the C++, some in the Go language, some in Python, and so on. But as of today, the most popular client which we have received from Ethereum Foundation is Git. So Git is written in a Go language. So what it does actually, so the Git Ethereum clients connect with the Ethereum nodes. It download the full copy of the blockchain to your system. So it store the information, it do all the computations, it validate all the transaction, their state, and it save the blocks to your local system. So imagine that right now you have 100 GB of mainnet Ethereum blockchain. So you're going to download the 100 GB of information to your system. So this data will goes on maybe grow in the future. So right now it is 100 GB, it may be 150 GB, or it may be thousand of GBs in the future. So it doesn't make sense for the person who want to just do some investment and just want to explore this blockchain from the starting, just to download the 100 or thousands of GB to their system. And your system will not support actually. So you need special hardwares for that one, special bandwidth for that one to have that stored on your system. So that is the limitations which we have with the Git. So now Parity Technologies, which is from ETH so bring out, they have come up with a solution with a new client which is known as a Parity client. So Parity client is also known as a light client. So this is a site which we have from Parity, which is parity.io. If you can just go it here, this is mentioned here. This is the fastest and the most secure way of interacting with the Ethereum blockchain. So they are focusing mainly on the fast, because if you go with the Git, it will take days. Sometimes it takes many hours. Sometimes it takes days to sync up your whole blockchain to your system. But Parity uh, approximately 8 times faster as compared to Git. So this is the reason they are just focusing mainly on the speed here. Okay, so now we will go over in this Parity client in this session, and we'll show that to you what all things you can do with the Parity client. But here, this is a site which you can visit and you can get the information if you just go down here. So they have mentioned that Parity can be used by whom? It can be used by the end users. They can maintain their accounts. They can maintain the address book. They can create the keys. They can browse the D apps here. And then this is for developers also. So developer can also develop the smart contract using this Parity client. So they have a feature where they can compile their smart contract. They can also deploy, and later they can also watch the smart contract. So then this is for enterprise as well. If you just go down, they have mentioned. So this is for enterprises also. Okay. And then this is some feature which they have mentioned about high performance, reliable, future-proof, small footprint. So basically, this is a major focus which they are doing here: high performance and a small footprint. Okay, and this is easy to use. So believe me that this is much user-friendly as compared to Git client. So you will get nice UI here, which you can use to interact with the Parity client and the Parity UI. Okay, so this is a site which you can just go from your side here, and you can just get the more information about. So we have few more tabs for developers, enterprises, and for users. Then we have some links, other links also, which you can just go over. Now, what Parity has done, earlier they used to have only one installer. Okay, but now in the latest version, what they have done, they have split it into two parts. They have kept one Parity UI and they have kept Parity client a separate. So they have split to two parts. Okay, so now what happens here, if you can just see here, this wiki links will give you the mode information. Okay, so starting from Parity 1.10, Parity Ethereum client has been separated from the Parity user interface. Earlier we used to have only one installer which we used to install, and it used to perform all the functions. But going forward, after this version 1.10, Parity client is different and Parity UI is separate. Okay, so basically what we do here, so you can install it separately, Parity client and Parity UI. So you have a separate installer for both. So as per your requirement, you can use that one. But in this session, we'll show you about the Parity UI, which can perform almost all the functions, because Parity UI in the background uses a Parity client to connect with the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so now let's see where you can go and install that Parity client, Parity UI, and where you can install to your system and how you can install. Let me show you that here. Okay, so this is a Parity client. This links talk about a Parity client, or you can simply go to parity.io, and this will, with this option you can download the Parity client only. But this does not have an option to download the Parity UI as of now. So you can also go to this GitHub URL for Parity Ethereum 1.11.8 stable version. You also have a beta version right now, which we have if you go up, which is 2.0.1, which is currently beta version. I would recommend you to go through this stable version for now if you want to just explore the Parity Ethereum client. And then there is a Parity UI as well, I just mentioned. Again, for Parity UI also we have a beta version which is 0.3.2, which is currently in the beta state. So I would not recommend you to go for that one. So you can go with this version, which is Parity UI version 0.3.0. Okay, so you can just download this file for Windows system, Parity UI setup 0.3.0.exe. So once you run this one, I have downloaded my system. Okay, so this is the setup which I have. So this 3.2 is a beta version and 3.0 is your stable version. And this is the Parity 1.11.8 Windows installer is a Parity Ethereum client. So let's just go and install this Parity UI. So once I click on this one, I have done this already on my system, but I have uninstalled just to show you that what step you have to follow to install this one. So once you just open this installer, it will start installation for you. You have to just accept the default options here, and that is going to install the Parity UI for you. Let's wait for it. Okay, now this has been installed, and this is, as you can see here, Parity is trying to connect to the Parity nodes. As you can see, by default, as you can see, this Parity will try to connect with the Ethereum mainnet. Okay, if your requirement is to connect with the Ethereum mainnet, you can keep this running, because now it will connect with the different peers and it will try to sync up. Okay, ultimately it will show this green. Whatever the yellow which you see, this should becomes as a green. Okay, and this will take some time. This will not be in like few seconds or minutes. This will take some time, but as you can see, there are different options available in the Parity UI. You can access Parity wallet as well. You can develop your smart contract. You can register your dApps. You can access the Web3 console. So this is a different option which you will get with the Parity UI. So now, sometimes we have a requirement that, okay, now, so if, before I go further, I just want to show you this node status also. You can check the node status, how this is going syncing up. So this is currently connected to 5 nodes, 5 peers, and you can see it here. This is very helpful. If you have used get in the past and if you just see it here, you can see this is the option which you can get it here. So RPC is enabled. You can connect through remote procedure call. Yes, what port we have, the enode information. You can get all the information through a nice UI. You need not to go run some command here. Okay. Now the requirement here, suppose I have a requirement that okay, I want to connect to a test net instead of mainnet, because by default Parity UI supports the mainnet. Okay, so now I will close this one and I will show you how you can connect your Parity UI with the testnet. So for that one, what I will do, I will go to my installation folder where it is installed. I will go to my C drive and I will just, this will get installed under Parity Technologies, Parity UI. So this will just go over this application. Now what you do, you just open a command prompt. Okay, drag this UI option here in this one. Okay, just mention this command chain Robson. Whatever network you want to connect, because as you're aware, Ethereum has 3 test networks, Robson, Coven, and other one. Right? So Ringsby. So these 3 networks are Robson, Coven, and Ringsby. So in this session, we show that to you how you connect with the Robson network. So you have to just mention here -- chain is equal to Robson. Just click on enter. This should open the Parity UI, and then you will see a difference here. Instead of foundation keyword, now this has been changed. You can see it here, Robson. Okay, so this is how you can connect with different test networks from the Parity UI. So this is currently syncing up. So I have leave this for some time. So this is currently, as you can see, currently we are on this block 4950.038, and we have to sync up till this block. So this will take some time. So I would recommend just to leave your system for some time and should be done. But this is much quicker, much faster as compared to Git. So now the next thing which we'll talk about in this session is about how you can create the accounts. Okay, so we'll have one more session in which I will show you that how you can create the smart contract and how you can develop and how you can deploy. But before we go to that step, you have to just make sure that this should be synced. All the blockchain should be synced, and you should have this symbol as green, and it should be all the blocks are there, because currently, as you can see, a warning is being shown. Your node is still syncing. The values you see might be outdated. Okay, so we have to wait till it is fully synced, then we can perform the other operations. But we can still go further and create the account, and we can see how you can create the accounts in the Parity UI. So for that one, again, you have to access a Parity wallet. So you need to go and install something else. You do have the option here in the Parity UI only to access the Parity wallet. So you can just go here, click on this Parity wallet. Once you click on that one, it will show you these 4 options: home, accounts, address book, settings. So here we are discussing about the accounts. Okay, so I already have a test account created for myself, but I will just show you that how you can create a account from scratch using the Parity UI, and which is the Parity wallet. So now to create an account, you can just click on this plus account button. Once you click on this one, you can see there are different options here. You can create a new account. You can import the JSON file. Okay, you can import an account using a private key. Okay, attach a external manage account, git key store, pre-sale wallets. Okay, so here we are discussing about creation of a new account. You can also import by JSON file or private key, but let's first of all see how you can create a new account. So click on this new account button, click on next here. Then you have to mention the account name. So account name, you can just mention, okay, account 1. So I have just mentioned this as account 1, or you can mention any account name as per your wish. Now password hint, I would just say You have to just mention some hint for to remember your password. Okay, I'm just keeping my school name. So this is my password hint. So I have mentioned. Okay, so I'm just mentioning one password. So my password strand is green. It is showing green here, so we are good. So just mention, you can just see it here what we have did here. We just mentioned the account name, password hint, and the password. Then click on next. Now this will give you the address here. You can copy this address, or if you read it, but you have to for sure copy this recovery phrase. You have to keep this at a secure place. Let me copy this one and save to my notepad. So this is required because this will be required in the next step. Okay, so it is mentioned that please back up the recovery phase now. Make sure to keep it private and secure. It allows full and unlimited access to your account. So please make sure that your this phrase is not shared with anyone else. So this is a thing. If you share with someone else, they can access your account and they can steal the money from your account as well. Okay, so once you do this thing, okay, so you have to mention here that okay, I have written down the phrase. Okay, so just to make sure that you have note down this or not. Sometimes people forgot. So this is one kind of validation which Parity UI has there, that okay, you have to just write down this sentence just to make sure that you have note down this phrase or not. So I will just mention here, I have written down the phrase. Then it will show blue here, and we have the option enable. Just click on done. Now it will ask you to mention the recovery phrase which we have noted down. So this is the reason we have just mentioned that you have to note down to some place. Okay, I just paste it here. Okay, so then create. Okay, so with this step you are able to access, you are able to create a account one, so which has 0 ether right now. So you can click on this account, then you will be able to see all the transactions related to this account down below. Okay, so here you can do a transfer from this account to another accounts. You can take an export of this account, so you can import to some other wallets, as so on thing. You can change your password, you can delete this account, you can edit this account. There are multiple options basically available. So say here again, you can export the accounts also. You can choose, okay, I want to export this account, I want to export this account, but it asks you to mention the password. Okay, the password which you have just mentioned for this accounts here, the one which you have chosen from your side, right? So this is how you can play around with the accounts in the Parity wallet. So there are address book also. You can also add the addresses to this address book. Okay, network address for entry. You can just mention your network address here, the address name, and so kind of thing. So this is another options which we have, but the basic option is that the account creation. Okay, so this is how your Parity UI look like. This is what all options you have in the Parity UI. So in nutshell, what we have discussed in this session, we have just shown you that what is Parity. Parity is an Ethereum client which help you to connect with the Ethereum blockchain. And now from version 1.10 onwards, you have two different things. One is a Parity UI, one is a Parity Ethereum client. But when you run the Parity in the background, it runs the Parity Ethereum client to sync up with the blockchain. So you can use the Parity client, Parity UI to connect with the mainnet. So default, it will connect with the mainnet blockchain, but you do have the option which you can use the chain hyphen chain is equal to the test network name, so that it will connect to that network only instead of connecting with some other networks. So this is how you can connect. Then this is how it will look like. Then you can go to the Ethereum wallet, Parity wallet, sorry, the home page, which you can go and access. You will be able to access the accounts. You will be able to create the account. You will be able to transfer the amount from one account to another account. You can export, import, and so kind of options. So this is all things which you can do with the Parity wallet. Okay, so in the next session or next video, we'll talk about that, how you can develop the smart contract and how you can compile and deploy on a blockchain. But before we go for that option, we just wait for this node to be get synced. So it should be synced fully. Then we'll go ahead with the smart contract development. Thanks for watching.